We didn't need any more proof that men are transactional. They've created dating bounties. Oh my God. Okay, this is like the most perfect Valentine's Day New York Times piece. If you, I don't even know where to start with this, but let's go. This is the title. This is the author. Google it if you want to read it yourself. This is a really well-written piece, by the way. But I kind of want to go into some of the things that I think the New York writers of the New York Times are so good at doing. They will not express an opinion or a judgment, but you can see it. I love the way they do this. Anyway, it's what they include. So just look at the way this is written, what they include. So they start off talking about Matty Roy. How dating just was far down on his list of priorities. He half-heartedly tried dating apps and would have welcomed a relationship that developed naturally. Now, I don't disagree with that. I think a lot of people should spend way less time searching for love, focusing on marriage, and way more time building community and friendships, because those things are actually should be the foundation of our life. Because of individualism, capitalism, white supremacy culture, patriarchy, and all this stuff, they want us obsessed with love, especially so that we can just keep exploiting women for our free labor. But anyway, pursuing love didn't seem worth the effort. Interesting, but okay. But as Mr. Roy entered his 30s, his priorities changed. He spent a long time ruminating over the ethics of having children, then decided he wanted some of his own. Now, mind you, like I say all the time, when men decide that they want children, watch out. They're not looking for love. They're looking for a breeder to, quote, Taylor Swift's a boyfriend. You know what I'm talking about? Look it up. And just because they want children, please do not see this, by the way, as a green flag. Men wanting children. The most trash men I've ever met wanted children. They're not going to parent those children. They want the legacy, which really, their legacy is going to be trauma and disappointment and abandonment and all that stuff. That's their legacy. But really what they want is to pass on their name and their genes, even though most of these men have terrible genes and they probably have addictions and all kinds of problems because they've never, ever stopped the cycle of violence in their family or addiction or whatever. So you really don't want these men's like baby gravy, okay? But whatever. Let's assume this guy's not trash. So in December 2021, he put together an online dating bio, otherwise known as Date Me Doc, and encouraged people to share it online. He noted that he was 6'2" tall, didn't drink, smoke, or do drugs, and leaned less interested in spending time together than typical couples. Like, can someone date me? I'm a catch, but I don't want to actually hang out with you. I just want 2 babies. I will say that is a big green flag, is that he doesn't do drugs or drink or whatever, because y'all know I talk about this a lot. Men will ruin your life with their addictions, and so many of them have it, especially if it's alcohol or but anything, any kind of escapism. Children were important, so to sweeten the pot, he offered $2,000 to whoever introduced him to the person that he would end up legally co-parenting with. Now, interesting choice of word. You know, Mr. Roy chose the word so that it wouldn't rule out adoption, but I would argue he doesn't want a wife. He wants free labor. He doesn't want a partner. He wants a breeder. And he's not interested in marriage. He literally just wants children. He's feeling old. He wants to feel like his life on earth meant something. And so that is why he's looking for a wife. Or like, he is not looking for love, y'all. He's not looking for love. This man is literally paying people to find free labor for him. But hey, at least he's acknowledging that, right? The money was an experiment, and the amount reflected a sum that might motivate people to get involved. Shocker, this man works for AI. So it sounds like a tech bro. And we know how those tech bros are. They're just like the outdoor adventure guys, comedy guys, Wall Street guy. It's usually a bro culture, and these men are oftentimes animals. But okay, at least this little red pillar is willing to pay someone to help him get laid. But the fact that he decided to call this reward a dating bounty, like, bro. One friend offered an additional $1,000 with easier requirement. It would go to whoever introduced Mr. Roy to a person who brought him a lot of joy for at least 18 months. Now, I want you to pay attention to that wording. This person is going into it looking for someone who will bring him a lot of joy. Men never think about what they're going to give. It is literally about what they're going to get. Believe it or not, bro, I guess you've never been in love and you don't know anything about love. But love is actually really rewarding, not only in what you receive, but what you give. Now, women have been taught that that is all love is what you give, which is why we're getting forked, right? Stop doing that. We need to think more like men. What am I going to get? What am I going to get? That women literally need to do like a hard 180 reversal here. What am I going to get? How much joy are you going to bring me? No more thinking about love, about what I can give, because we will naturally do that. Not all women. Some women are trash. But in general, we've been conditioned to give and give and give and give and give. So we're just going to do that no matter what. We need to start aligning with how men think. And men, y'all need to start doing what we've been doing. Learning emotional intelligence, learning how to be thoughtful, learning empathy, all the things that toxic masculinity under patriarchy taught you to not have. That's how you will win us over, because you're all going to die alone if you don't get with it. I'm sorry I'm riled up, but it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's! So one of his friends got into this because he's like, that sounds like a great idea. Okay, I doubt he's Southern given this name, but I always use my Southern voice whenever I want to sound stupid. And I think part of that is my own internalized hatred of being Southern, I guess. I don't know. We all do it in the U.S. We want to sound stupid. We put on a Southern accent, right? Just realize that. Anyway, so this dude who goes by Tully, I guess, added $500 with the same 18-month condition, bringing the full bounty to $3,500. Mr. Zalavins, I want to say I almost said like the Ukrainian dude. Okay, I'm not going to pronounce this. I'm so sorry. So this guy, now 31 and an engineer at got another tech bro, liked the idea so much that he decided to offer his own dating bounty $100,000. Y'all, women, I need you to understand, if they're paying $100,000 dating, this is like, please, we are the gold. We're not gold diggers. We are the gold, not them. Now they're literally like saying it out loud. So this would be paid out over a 4-year vesting schedule. I really like the vesting structure that startups have, and I thought, well, if it works in the financial world, why can't we make it work in the dating world? He chose the amount after analyzing his spending. And think about how much he wanted to invest in love. Okay, this goes into what I tell you all the time. Men are the shopaholic. Men are the spenders, the hoarders, the wasters of money. Way more than any women I've ever met. These men are so reckless with money. And this dude's like, I like that he realized this. Let's see, I waste so much money on pointless crap. Maybe I should put that towards relationships. Okay, like, can you pay the woman that you're marrying? I hate that some friend is going to get $100,000. What is the woman getting out of this? Like, honey, you better sign a prenup. Mm-hmm. After the first year of the relationship, the amateur matchmaker would be paid a lump of $25,000. Then the person would receive a monthly payments of roughly $2,000 until the full amount was paid over or the couple broke up. He then offered a more profit-sharing initiative. God, are we going to go back to dowry soon? Like, what is happening? If the prospective partner agrees to the terms, the matchmaker would receive 10% of the couple's combined income. Okay, fork you. You're going to give her money to this person when you're the desperate one? Oh, now I hate you. I hate you. If their earnings went up, so with the bounty, fork you. You're going to make her pay for you being a desperate loser who can't find any. Oh my God, this is so insulting. I hope this man, I don't remember if this man ends up with someone. We'll get to, oh my God, please. Oh, this is so scary. But I love that these men are shamelessly saying this. Pay attention. Then the writer's like, yeah, a lot of people thought this idea was not just unusual, but cringe. Look at this dude. He's not bad looking at all. Kind of cute, but I hate you because of your profit sharing crap. So they go on to say the whole like bounty term is interesting because that's what we used to talk about criminal. So they're like, yeah, well, their whole dating bounties can be considered a return to old-fashioned matchmaking. Okay, sure. Or also dowries, but instead of the dowry actually being for the woman, it goes to some random friend. Like, first of all, this is so messed up because if I thought I could make $100,000 and I was an unethical person who didn't have community and friends and just sucked, like a lot of men, I might try to hook that man up with somebody, even if they're a terrible match. I'm not thinking about her. I want the money. Like, this is so awful. I just can't get over this audacity. What kind of incentive does someone have to vet well? Like that, honestly, this to me seems like an incentive for men to find the most vulnerable women they know. Because we know that men are terrible friends to us in general. I have some male friends, but I've had a lifetime of terrible experiences with male friends that made me very cautious of ever having men in my life as anything, including friends. Imagine so many of these men who literally will turn on a dime and try to fork us, right? Because a lot of male friends do that. When given the opportunity, they'll try to fork us. But if they know they don't have a chance, imagine those same men with that same mentality who don't see us as humans and they're always looking out for number one, which is them. And they're like, well, I know this girl. Yeah, she'll put up with anything. And like, oh, they're going to sell her friends. Like, this is like love trafficking or something. I don't know what you call it, but this is so messed up. And especially if she has to pay part of this bounty. Like, what? Rather than doing the hard work of actually having to swipe and vet and talk to women and, put in the effort of getting to know women and sending them messages other than, hey, what superhero would you be? The copy and pasted crap that they send to all women on these dating apps. Instead of having to deal with that, he's like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I don't want to put any effort in. I just pay somebody to do all this for me, but pay somebody who literally has no incentive other than to get money and won't be held accountable for their bad choice. I mean, I guess this is the way a lot of people have met people before. This one guy, Michael, I don't care what men think about this. Anytime I do a reported story on anything that involves dating, I will never ask a man anything because they do not understand how selfish men are and how much they fork us. Look at this. Well, he believes that a dating bounty is sensible, given that friends and families are out of practice making an introduction. Shut up, Michael. Shut up. This is an effort to put all hands on deck. And it makes sense to me. You know what kind of person would say this? I don't know what Michael looks like, but this sounds very white. And the reason why I say that is white people, I'm going to speak for U.S. Americans, okay? We have usually been raised to be very selfish and individualistic and not focused on community and family and all that stuff. And one of the things about community building and caring about your community is looking out for your friends. And, you would introduce people, whatever. But no, these people have to pay. If you want your friends and family to help you out, you got to pay them $100,000. Like this, I swear to God. Ugh. Like, this is why I talk about community so much. The more I understand how much patriarchy, capitalism, white supremacy culture create the most individualistic, selfish, awful mindset, the more I want nothing to do with it. And do everything I can to try to fight against this because, oh my God, and it's so deep, this indoctrination. But imagine having to bribe your friends $100,000 to introduce you to people? What? That sounds like really selfish friends. God, why aren't all hands on deck before you have to pay them $100,000? What? Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm getting way off topic here. He added appropriately, people don't treat singleness as an emergency. Yeah, it's not, especially not for women, but rather as a state of life. So if you want to get your people working on it, you need to sort of prod them like they're cattle, with a sense that this is actually something that's really important. I understand that money talks and money is an incentive, but I really think it's weird. Like this is why I do not like that whole green light or whatever, that cab thing from Schmegs in the City. Like, I actually think that that's how a lot of men operate, but that's a red flag. If a man is like, you know what, I've decided I'm ready to get married. No, that man is going to pick the first person he finds that'll get the job done. It's not about you. It's about wanting someone. And do you check the boxes? And I'll say this for women too. Like, I understand that we are under different pressures, society, family, patriarchy, and babies. If we are, cishet women who want to have a family, right? And we want to marry men, then yeah, okay, we have to think about the biological clock and all that stuff. But still, this mindset, I can't tell you how many women think like this. I've had women who literally come up to me, especially after I got married. They're like, oh my God, I just realized because of your story that that's what I want. In the next year, I'm going to get married. Now I'm like, what? How could you have gotten that from my story? Like, do you know me? Have you heard? Like, what? I will not co-sign that. You're going to pick a terrible person if you have a mindset that this has to happen within a year or 18 months or whatever. And men, especially who have this mentality, they will never look for love, compatibility, and what they can give. They're literally looking for a servant, schmegs worker, secretary, emotional labor, all the stuff they get from it. And it is not about actually finding a partner. You can't put a timeline on that. Can you make efforts to, invest more in your dating life? And then just tap out entirely? Yes, I talk about that all the time. But having this, I have to do this, blah, 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 that is not how the world works. Nothing works that way. That is like a spreadsheet approach to life. And with relationships especially, that's not how this works. So I know so many women who married absolute trash. Because at 37 or 38 or 39, they're like, oh my God, I want kids. Married the first man that was half decent to them. And now they're co-parenting with a loser who's usually, a lot of them have addictions and all kinds of problems. But these women were desperate. So this is not just against men who are like, I got to do this. Don't do this, ladies. You will get screwed because patriarchy is never gonna work for you. So this dude wasn't afraid of being ridiculed when he put out this thing. He hoped it would make me bring more open-minded people, blah, 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 I don't care. Okay, look at this. At the time he lived in Brooklyn, he was making $200,000 a year. So roughly $2,000 a month bounty payments would have been about 12% of his salary. Now, again, this is really interesting because this man is saying out loud the things that I talk about all the time. He said, I looked at all these things in my life that didn't bring me much value. At that point, I'm spending maybe $13,000 a month. But do I need all this stuff I'm buying? Bro, God, what are you buying? What are you buying for $13,000 a month? This is what I'm telling you. See, he's going to spend all this money on the bounty. And then as soon as he finds a woman, he's going to financially abuse her because he's going to go back to buying all this crap he doesn't need. That's what men do in marriage. They waste money buying their dumb toys and their hobbies and la 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 la. But he's just going to invest right now to find the woman that he's going to trap financially. And then he's going to go back to spending $13,000 a month on crap. Like so many men, I would put money on it. I don't know why I'm so worked up, y'all. I don't know. It's Valentine's Day. I hate this holiday and I'm mad because they've been selling us on love, but this is not what men want. Men are about transaction. And this, if nothing I have said, this shows you they are literally transactional. Not all of them, but so many of them, especially the ones who will not question patriarchy. He pointed out that this blind, some anonymous gossip app that tech people use, it was people complaining about their life. A lot of people there make well over $500,000 a year and that they struggle with relationships. I wonder why. Could it be a lot of them are inchmels? Right? Tech bros, man. The more women I know who worked in tech, the more I'm like, never date a tech bro. Not all. Some are fine, I'm sure. But these nerds think so highly of themselves. And you're going to have revenge of the nerds in your home with these dudes. Because I'm sure they got bullied in high school. And guess what? You're their living nerd. Look at this guy. He's like, look, he has a dog. He's so sweet. No. Fork you. Okay, so then they talk about actual professional matchmakers and compare it to what these dudes are doing. And as much as I hate online dating coaches and matchmakers and stuff, I do actually think that there is some value to what they're doing. Okay, so this one billionaire offered Rachel Greenwald, a professional matchmaker and executive fellow at Harvard. Okay, so Harvard, this woman is smart. $1 million dating bounty if she found him his spouse. She turned it down. See, this woman's smart. You know why I think she turned that down? She doesn't want to be responsible. She ethically probably can't do this. Because she probably was like, this dude sucks. I would never take $1 million and put a woman with it. Because most billionaires are unethical in general. Fork all of them and their private jets. But she probably was like, I can't live with myself if I literally sign a woman up for this with this psycho. She said it wasn't surprising that it's usually men who were the ones offering dating bounties. Women think it sounds desperate and men think it sounds like a power move. Exactly. So if you cannot find someone to date you and you have to pay somebody a bounty, what's wrong with you? Especially if you have money. But men are like, yeah, man, it's a power move. God, they're so delusional. So then it talks about the difference between a matchmaking, dating kind of coach person versus these bounties. Yes, some of them do have a success fee of some type in their contract, but they kind of compare it to like a real estate agent. It's more like a commission, right? It's a little bit of an incentive for them to actually find someone who is a good match or whatever. I don't know, whatever. I don't care about, I would never pay a match person, but I understand why some people might. And as she points out here, what you're paying for with a matchmaker versus a bounty you're paying your friends who have to be paid to help you, was that with a matchmaker, it's not just about success, but it's about the person's time and network and psychological expertise, okay? Because that's a big part of it in getting to understand and guide you. That's why a dating bounty might seem crass, even though paying for a dating coach isn't. Because one feels like paying for an expertise and help with self-improvement, while the other one is putting a price on love. Voila! That is what it's about. One is paying somebody who knows a lot about dating and literally, hopefully, is helping that person learn how to value themselves and work on themselves and make themselves more dateable. Hopefully, that's what these people do. Whereas the other one is like, I don't want to deal with this crap. I'm just going to throw $100,000 to the first idiot who brings me someone who was willing to marry me. God. Okay, so what was his success like? Well, this dude that I really hate, that I keep talking about, had with his bounty, he had 5 introductions, 2 which turned into video calls, but none became dates. That should say a lot. Even when you're offering $100,000, you can't find somebody, bro. You're probably a suck. I mean, based on everything that he said, I can't stand him already. But following a reunion and a breakup with an ex, he's dating again. Watch out, ladies. And the $100,000 bounty remains. But look at this. Look at this. I swear, this article is proving all my points. Look at this. But he's polyamorous now. Of course he is. So the bounty will be paid out to the person who introduces him to his longtime primary partner. God, this goes right into what I talk about with these polyamorous guys, okay? Most polyamorous men are just selfish men who want all the benefits of marriage without any of the responsibility and commitment and financial commitment as well. And literally, I know some polyamorous people and cishet men ruin polyamory because so many of them are like, I'm poly. And they convince all these women to be polyamorous too, because aren't you an open-minded person? Don't you want to be sexually liberated? And all this crap. And it's but these men usually don't see it as equitable. They don't want the women they're dating to have a bunch of other dudes. Usually they go for women who don't want other partners. And the women, if they have low self-esteem or just don't know enough about all this stuff and how terrible men are, will agree to this because they like the guy, right? And even if it goes against their own personal preference or how they want to be or what they want, so many men are now proposing this crap that they're like, well, if I really love him, and they go along with it, but they're not actively seeking out other partners. A true polyamorous man is like wants his partners to have partners, is not threatened by that. And also, if you have, by the way, I know I'm getting off, but this is a teachable moment. If any of these men are like, I want to be polyamorous, let's be polyamorous. Do you know what that includes? Because my polyamorous friends have given me some tips about this. You need to meet all of his partners. You need to ask for ID. Make sure they are who they say they are. You need to ask lots of questions. You need to have a one-on-one relationship with his other partners because most of these men are lying. And a lot of these poly men, the women that they're married to or dating don't know they're poly. Like, it's, I gotta make a whole nother video on this because this makes me so mad, especially once my poly friends started to explain polyamory to me. I was like, what? These men are all liars. They're literally lying, cheating, manipulating, sociopath. And I know so many women who have gotten screwed by these poly men. Now I really hate this man. Okay, so what about Mr. Roy? I don't hate Mr. Roy as much. That's the guy we first talked about. 27 introductions, which turned into 5 video calls and 1 in-person meet. None ended in romance, but his friend Carrie, who had tried to set him up before, shared his bounty on the Facebook page, and it quickly attracted attacks, rightfully so. Here's an interesting part. The honesty and specificity of his profile, like that he wanted 2 children and was into cryonics. Oh my God, I'm so afraid to look that up. What is that? It's probably something terrible. Sorry, I'm dumb. I should know it. No, I'm not dumb. Okay, sorry. Self-deprecating. Anyway, so this one woman was like kind of attracted to his honesty. But what she noticed, and I do think that this is actually a green flag. I'm not saying this man is a green flag, but this is something that I think is important. She noticed that he took criticism well. People were just tearing him up in the comment section of this. Commenter said that the bounty was weird and that the profile had too much information or that he sounded autistic, as this woman said. Now, also, I've actually never watched Love on the Spectrum, but one of my friends was the casting person for that and loved working on that show. And I've actually heard from a lot of people. It's a really insightful show. I do want to recognize that neurodivergent people, especially autistic, do sometimes date differently. And maybe this man is autistic, right? I don't want to sound like ableist or like anti, like honesty and whatever. My problem is that, and also Mr. Roy did not sound as bad as that other dude, the poly man. So she says that I observed in the comments how he was responding to people. He was very gracious and he would say, that's a great point, or I should change that, or I could add something like that. That's not how I feel. He just handled everything beautifully, and that felt very significant to me. I would honestly say that is a very big green flag. That is honestly one of the things that I noticed about my husband that I was like, dang, this is a man who can take criticism. He doesn't take it in a self-deprecating way. It's so easy to call this man out. He never deflects. He never defends unless he's actually right. But even when he's right, he will listen and he'll consider it. And he will only get the slightest bit defensive if what I accuse him of is completely bonkers, which does happen sometimes because I have my little trauma responses and I'm like, But in general, this man, he apologizes sincerely. He's thoughtful. He's a great communicator and he takes criticism so well because he wants to learn and grow. So I would say that this right here, okay, this is a green flag. Don't like the bounty idea, but I would say that is a green flag. But he lived in Canada and she lived in Georgia. So they started messaging. Okay, like that means one of them's got to move. But look, now I think I should make a whole video on why you should not have a man move to you, usually because you get screwed too. But in general, I really discourage women moving for men. So when I read this, so he went to stay with her for a few weeks. Then they spent time in Mexico with her and her child. She's got a child. Stepdads are the worst, but maybe this will be okay. And eventually he moved to Georgia permanently. So he moved for her. So that means that this man is not isolating for her from her family, from her community, making her uproot her child's life. So again, it can actually work out terribly if a man moves for you sometimes, because if he doesn't make friends, put in the effort, build community and all that stuff, now you're stuck carrying this man. But it's way more dangerous for women to move to men's area because we lose everything. when we do that for men. Please don't do that for men. They do it on purpose to trap you and isolate you. So he's already paid off part of the bounty and, is thinking about adopting the kid. I guess they're married now. This is their little contract. I don't know. Pause to read if you're interested. And this is the couple. I don't know. They seem cute, but still, fork bounty.